everybody. Thanks for coming out this morning. So nice to see you all. How'd everybody like the drums at the hotels this morning? It's so quiet outside, right? Well, we are going to have some fun this morning. I'm Kipp Bodnar. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at HubSpot. Thanks so much for coming to Inbound. And I have an amazing marketing leader that I'm going to be talking to this morning, Shannon Duffy, CMO at Asana. Big round of applause for Shannon. And I've got some fun questions. And backstage, Shannon's like, did you write those questions? They're really good. I was like, Claude and I wrote those questions, so shout out to Anthropic and the Claude folks. We went back and forth and came up with some fun questions. And this is meant to be a play on like the actors on actors concept, where we're gonna talk marketing, marketing leadership, marketing careers. Hopefully you all take a bunch of fun stuff away from this morning, and it's a good kickoff to your day. So Shannon, thanks for coming to Inbound.
Thanks for having me, it's great to be here.
All right, my first question, which I think is a fun one, is if your marketing career was a movie, what movie would it be?
So I am a huge Britney Spears fan.
We're learning so much already.
I mean, she's great. She's having some issues right now, but anyway. My title of my movie would be Oops, I Did It Again, a CMO's journey to reinventing brands and making mistakes.
Oh, reinventing brands and making mistakes.
And making mistakes.
Because you think in the process of reinventing brands, you have to make mistakes?
Yes, and I reinvent the brands, but I also keep making mistakes. So oops, I did it again.
I like that. What mistakes do you keep making?
It depends on the situation, but sometimes we all make mistakes, but that's how we learn.
That is, yes, I've made more mistakes than I can count.
Absolutely.
Okay, I love that one. My next thing is a lot of us are working from home. I think you kind of work from home and the office.
Yes, both.
What is the most interesting item on your desk?
So I have the tarot of Britney Spears actually on my desk to continue with that.
Wow, you really love Britney Spears.
I have a candle, I have a pillow, I have all these things. But the best thing about the tarot of Britney Spears cards is before a meeting, you shake them up and somebody takes a card and Britney gives you guidance. So you can start your meeting with some wisdom from the various Britney.
Maybe we should all get these cards and be using them before meetings.
Would recommend.
I'm going to at least get them anytime I have a meeting with you in the future. I'm going to use them.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that was pretty fun. My movie, I think, would definitely be Ocean's 11 because I feel like I stole like the best job and best career in the whole world. I feel like I'm like so incredibly lucky.
That's great.
And I love a good heist movie.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could swap marketing superpowers with any fictional character, who would it be, and how would you use that superpower at Asana?
So I think for me, it would be Katniss Everdeen. Do you guys know who she is?
Oh, a little Hunger Games.
Yes,
Love it.
I love the Hunger Games because I feel like she was able to galvanize and create kind of grassroots marketing campaigns in a way that gets people to really feel with their whole heart, their soul, and their bodies wanting to drive change and do something. And if I could capture that as a marketer and add that to whatever I'm marketing, like that would be a pretty cool superpower to have.
Yeah, you're basically like, obviously in the Hunger Games, the stakes are high, they're trying not to die.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing about marketing is apathy, is having nobody care about what you're trying to do at all. And you're like, hey, if I could have the ability to have everybody care about the problem I'm trying to solve out in the universe, it would just be so much easier to solve that problem.
And to feel, right? I feel as marketers, we want people to feel something. Like that, whatever it is that we're marketing, you need to feel a way about the product, the service, the thing. And she was able to get people to feel and care so deeply.
I think that's one of the hardest things about being a marketer is that you're working with a CEO, a CFO, head of sales, and a lot of those conversations are very logical and not very emotional. And you think that people make decisions based on logic, and they don't.
They don't.
They make decisions based on emotion. And if all of your work is very logical, you will not be as successful as if you also have a lens of emotion. And that's kind of what you're
Absolutely. And that's why we all have jobs, right? Like that is our job, to change the emotions of our customers.
Yeah, we heard from Josh tomorrow from Disney at the end of the day yesterday. And he was talking all about storytelling and how you drive that emotion. And Disney is like an incredible company at doing that. Okay. Both HubSpot and Asana are in the business of making work better.
Yes.
Like we're helping companies grow better, you're helping companies work better. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about how people actually work? Asana does project management, so you have a front row seat into how people work.
that people waste time on silly things, right? Like,
I love this.
we were all hired because we have an innate gift or a skill, and so much of that skill is wasted on busy work and things that don't matter. And so being able to do less of the busy work and more of our innate genius not only makes us happier, but makes our companies more productive.
What are some examples of things that you think, that you see just across the board, writ large, that people are doing that they should be spending less time on?
Searching for information, asking who is doing what by when and why, like not knowing the basics of why things are happening, if a project is moving, and if it's not moving, why it's stopped. I think waiting for information to come to you when you can find it or have it automatically pushed to you through AI, be AI knowing what you're working on and what you're trying to do, like there's really an endless list.
One of the things I like to talk about with other marketers is the challenges they have. And when I think about what you're trying to solve, it is you're trying to help people embrace and understand that they can be way more productive.
Yes.
That's also kind of a tough sell because it's like, what does productivity mean? It's a little abstract, and it's like, oh, so you just want me to work all the time? Like, what does that actually look like? So how do you actually get people to care about productivity without the kind of ambiguity, the negative connotations to that?
I love this question because, again, to me, productivity is not about working more or working harder. It is about working smarter, right?
Yep.
So how can you do actually the same amount or more in less time? And that, again, goes back to how are you using tools not to be a distraction, not to be another, a Slack or a ping or an email or an at mention in a Google Doc. Like, how are you using a tool that actually is pushing information to you in a way that is meaningful, that is intuitive, and that you can make the most of it to go faster?
Love that. I know you just got in yesterday at the end of the day. So she missed day one, which was, I think the word AI was used a ton of times, even by me, I think like a million times. How are you all actually using AI at Asana? Anytime I'm talking to a successful leader, I want to get kind of the details around what's actually working.
Yeah.
What could anybody out here think about going and doing in their business?
Yes, and so I think, and I think we're going to talk about this in a minute, like those of us that have been in marketing for a while, there's been a lot of fads, there's been a lot of things. AI is not a fad. And if you think of like what AI will disrupt, it is really around knowledge workers, right? Like that is who the disruption is going to come from. And so my perspective as a marketer and the perspective of my team is we need to embrace this. We need not to be scared of this. We need not to fear it. We need not to think it's going to take our jobs. We need to embrace it. So the good news about Asana, which we use every day at Asana, because we have to, but it's great, we love it. It is deeply entrenched into everything we do. And so things like, how do I know what projects need my attention? And not that I know a project needs attention, how do I get the actionable insights for how I can actually fix it? Like, think of that in the old world of having to look through emails and Slacks. That can actually take a long time. And it's even multiplied when you're at a business that maybe has different geographic locations or different time zones or different languages, right? Using AI to not just like kind of be this thing that kind of sits on the side, we look at it as an actual teammate for us, that is someone, it is helping us be more productive. Again, going back to that innate genius, why we were hired to do our jobs, unleashing that in a way, the busy work falls to the side, and we're able to actually work on the things that matter.
That really resonates with me because I don't know about everybody out there, but I see project trackers and I see whatever red, yellow, green, or thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, you have all the different ways, and you just like, when you have a long list of those, you glaze over it. And what you're really talking about is AI can look at the details of the work if you're documenting your work in Asana or something else, and actually uncover opportunities to say, like, you actually need to dive in here because this project is not going as you designed or intended it to go.
Absolutely. What if you could talk to your project like it was a teammate? And you could ask your project, what is going well? What is a blocker, right? So no more of the hunting and having to find, or even just looking at a list of red, yellow, green, like what does that mean? You're like, bad, kind of not bad, good? Like,
and
that's
everybody
not helpful.
thinks everything's green, so it's also normally not an accurate like representation. I find that nobody wants to tell you the bad stuff.
No.
But AI doesn't care
AI
to tell
doesn't
you the bad stuff, right?
AI doesn't care, no, it'll tell you.
And I want to know the bad stuff because I want to fix the bad stuff because that's actually how you get much better.
That's how you get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not one to pick favorites, but if I were going to pick a favorite question from today, this would be my favorite question, which is, at Asana, you're all about improving team collaboration, but if you were going to make a marketing team, it's like a fantasy marketing team, and you could pick characters throughout history to be on your marketing team, who would you pick?
Okay, this is
And what would they do?
This is like my favorite question I've ever been asked in my life. So thank you. So I would pick Eleanor Roosevelt to
Ooh,
run
this is
my
a good one.
comms because she's amazing, and
I mean, she got it done.
she got it done, and she knew she was ahead of her time. But you kind of want your comms person or your PR person to be ahead of their time. I would pick Walt Disney for customer experiences because,
Obvious.
again,
'Cause why not?
Okay, this one's going to sound weird, but go with me. I would pick Dolly Parton to run my marketing analytics.
We are all ears on why Dolly Parton should run marketing analytics.
I feel like
that sentence has never been said before in the history of humanity.
Here's why I say this, because I think she is a lot smarter than people give her credit for, and she leans into it. And I could see her walking into a room, dropping some amazing marketing analytics knowledge, and people being so shocked, but they're so impressed with her marketing analytic knowledge that you can get whatever budget or approve whatever campaign you're approving.
Kind of true.
Yeah, right? Awesome. I would pick Coco Chanel for brand, because again,
Come on,
I know.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
And then I would have Picasso as my creative director. Bold, changing styles.
Yeah, very unique style, differentiated. Who's Demand Gen before we move on?
Oh my God,
You forgot
who
Demand
is
Gen.
Demand Gen? That is amazing. A Kardashian, pick one, I don't care.
A Kardashian, pick one, I don't.
And that
That's
would be
the
a great
answer.
dinner party too. Like you'd want to come to that dinner party.
That team outing is the most fun team outing that's probably ever
Very
existed.
fun.
Okay, I love that. Okay, both of our platforms, HubSpot and Asana, help streamline workflows. There's a lot of automation in those. Like, if you had to explain using only emojis what Asana actually does and the workflows you help people with, like what emojis would you use?
I would use a laptop.
A laptop emoji.
Because like work from anywhere, like
Yeah.
work. I would use a check mark, get stuff done.
Check it off. I love it.
I would use up and to the right because it's going to make everything better. And the dancing lady because you're so happy.
Oh, that's a good. If you texted me that, I'd be like, oh yeah.
I'm going to text you that tomorrow.
Yeah, you definitely should. Okay. You've seen a lot of marketing. You've had an amazing marketing career. What's one trend that you initially thought was stupid, ridiculous, crazy, insert word, but ended up embracing it and completely changing your mind?
So I thought Twitter was dumb. I was like, oh, no one's going to use this. So that didn't work out very well for me, guys, not going to lie. So yeah, I was like, oh, we don't need another social media platform. And I remember like having an argument, like again, we talk about make mistakes, like why at the company I was working at the time, like we didn't need a Twitter account. We all make mistakes, guys, all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
But since then, clearly the power of social, the power of having that one-to-one relationship with your customers and your prospects has been a huge thing that I've cultivated throughout my career, and especially at Asana when we think of sort of how we make our brand more accessible, humanized, and really can connect directly with our customers.
Love that. There are folks out in the audience today from all size companies. Very small companies, very large companies. And you've had the fortune in your career to work at lots of different size companies, to work very closely with different size companies. What do you think changes in a marketing strategy depending on the company size? And the clever Claudeism here was, is it like changing a whole outfit, or is it just like changing toppings on a pizza? Is it like you change a little bit based on how mature the company is, or do you think marketing is wildly different depending on how big the company is?
So I think it's closer to changing outfits, because pizza, it's still like pizza with different toppings. I think with changing outfits, like if you think of like most people's philosophy of getting dressed, you can call it that, is you have a style that is unique to yourself. And so whether you're going to like a formal event or you're going to run errands, you still have your style. Those outfits are going to be wildly different because a small customer is going to need something very different than a large customer, but it's still true to the style of what you have. And so I think, again, when dealing with different types of customers, they have different needs at the size, at the industry, at the scale that they're at, and you really need to think of marketing more directly to them, which is more than a pizza topping. It's more like a full outfit change.
Yeah, I think what I have found in marketing to different size companies is a smaller company, the person making the decision is also the same person using the product.
Absolutely.
At larger companies, that is not true, right? The decision maker and the end user are very different. And because of that, you have to market more to the entire company, the entire team as you move up market.
Yes.
Less down market. And then the other thing that I think I have seen is that companies down market actually need more help, time, and attention than companies up market, which is like counterintuitive. People are like, oh, they're less sophisticated, they're spending less money, they need less help, and that turns out to not be true.
Yes, absolutely true. And I think that's important for our marketing too. It's like, what marketing are you putting into market so you can help the smaller companies at scale, right, who are going to need that help.
All right, next one, we're looking for a little vulnerability. What was the biggest oops mistake you've made since you've been at Asana doing marketing? And then how'd you turn that around and make it a success?
So my biggest mistake was early on in my tenure. The team was planning an event, and I was sitting through sort of the briefings to the event. I was very new to Asana, and my gut was telling me that this was not going to work. And it was a really hard experience because I was sitting in front of these very smart, very skilled people who were pitching me on this event. They were telling me how great it was going to be. They were walking me through their thought process. And I was like, every nerve in my being was like, this is not going to work. Like, this is, not only is it not going to work, but I have like bad, like this isn't going to be what we want it to be. And instead of really sort of leaning into my gut and my instinct and my pattern matching, I've been doing this for 25 years, I kind of let it go. And it turned out like I expected, unfortunately, right? And so bad, like, customers were commenting on it and they were like, this is what we expected. And we lost a lot of trust with our customers, which was the worst part, right?
Yeah.
The silver lining was, because it had the effect it did, and we had actual real-time feedback from customers being like, this was really bad, we were able to pitch a new event strategy. Asana had never done in-person events before. Yeah. And part of this was a virtual event that we had done. And we're like, no, we have to get back out there. Like, COVID is over, the pandemic is over, like, people want to meet, we're trying to connect with enterprise buyers. We have to do that. And so it was because the event was such a issue, we were able to do a completely new strategy because we had the data points and we showed that we needed to rebuild those trust with our customers.
I had a wonderful boss at HubSpot a while ago, JD Sherman, and he would always say, never waste a good crisis.
That was what we did.
Never waste a good crisis. If something does not go well, use it to your advantage to reinvent, reboot, and change something. And that seems like here what you're saying, like that was the catalyst for doing that.
100%. And like similar to my movie title, like it was a mistake. I made a mistake, we made a mistake, but we got feedback. So when we did do the first in-person event, it was a success because we took what we learned, as hard as it was.
I have a couple follow-ups here because I think this is one of the most important lessons from this morning. Because sometimes as a leader who has seen a lot of things work and seen a lot of things not work, you've got better pattern matching.
Yes.
And you have a better ability to predict the success of something. When do you let your team try something and fail? Or when do you jump in and say, hey, I just got to put my proverbial thumb on the scale, and I'm just going to tell you I think this is not going to work and we have to do something different?
So I love this question because I firmly believe in the multiplier philosophy of leadership, which says you let everybody make one mistake once. And so I do think part of the learning process is allowing people to make mistakes. What I would say, to answer your question though, Kipp, more directly, it depends on the scale of decision, right? Like the smaller decisions, the things where it's not going to matter, or if it goes wrong, again, we can learn from it. Like an event like this, for example, I would not leave up to chance. I would trust your judgment on some of those decisions, right? So how do you find the right size and scope for people to make decisions that may or may not work, while making sure the really big, important ones you lead into your gut?
And it's hard to make those mistakes, from my experience, because when you make those mistakes in marketing, you get a lot of qualitative feedback. Everybody emails the CEO, like you get all these flaming emails to you, your CEO's forwarding you all this stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm the worst person in the world at this job right now. And it feels really painful.
Yes.
But what the lesson here is there's an opportunity to transform and reset and make sure everybody actually learns from the mistake. If you're going to make the mistake, you also have to learn from it. You said, let anybody make a mistake once. You can't repeat those mistakes, because that's how teams start to be really unsuccessful.
Absolutely. And I think to your point too, like I always say, like, I mean, the qualitative feedback, it's like everyone has an opinion. I like to say everyone's a marketer, but guess what? They're not. And so being able to like put the noise of that from the decisions that actually you as the marketing leader or you as the marketing professional need to do is really important skill.
Yeah, I'll let everybody in on a secret. If you're a marketer in the room, which you probably are if you're here, you're like, oh, maybe someday as my company gets bigger, all these people won't care about my homepage. Oh. It never happens. You still get all of the crazy emails about the homepage. Yeah. Why isn't this on the homepage? Yeah. Why does your navigation not make sense? Like, you must be an idiot. Yeah.
Why
is the homepage so slow today? It's crazy. Okay. In just a minute, we're going to get to some rapid fires that are going to be fun. But before that, if you could send a message to yourself from 10 years ago about the future of marketing, what would it be?
It would be fix problems when they're little, because they get harder the longer you leave them. And what I mean by that is, like, most of us are companies that are growing, and sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I'll fix that later. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's easier to fix it when you're smaller in scale or the problem is new. And then my wrong answer to this would be is like, don't go big on NFTs. Or that's my right answer. Like, remember when NFTs were like the big thing? Everyone's like, you need an NFT. And everyone was like, do I need an NFT? Guess what? You don't.
You're like, I'm just going to give you a little cheat sheet. You don't need to do that. Okay, we got some rapid fires here. Okay. Emails, emoji overload, or corporate robot?
Oh, I would just send emoji. Actually, there was like a week-long period where I wanted to see how many emails I could respond to with just Britney Spears memes. It was really fun. It was good.
I just want to be on text and email with Shannon, and I feel like that would be my whole Britney Spears quota for my life. It'll be pretty awesome. Okay, social media, TikTok dances, or LinkedIn humble brags?
My dream is to do a TikTok dance with my team, and they will not do one with me. So if you ever need anyone to participate in your corporate TikTok dance, call me.
And let's be honest, if it's a Britney Spears TikTok dance,
even more.
You're in. Yes. You're in. Okay. Marketing KPI you'd happily send to the moon. Get out of here.
Like, oh, get out of here? Oh, like number of leads, because it doesn't matter.
Volume
doesn't matter.
Leads, yeah.
Volume doesn't matter.
Volume without quality. I love that. Favorite marketing campaign that wasn't yours?
Okay, and I'm not just saying this because it was Dolly Parton, even though a little bit. I would say like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was Squarespace. They had a working 5 to 9. It was a Super Bowl commercial, and they were trying to target entrepreneurs to use their software, and they had a Dolly Parton like singing custom lyrics. And one, it was catchy because it's Dolly Parton. Who doesn't love Dolly Parton? But two, it really tapped into that like what it means to be an entrepreneur, and it was a really way to sort of humanize their technology and make it seem easy and friendly, but also selling their core value prop. I thought that was really good.
It's a great example of using the Super Bowl not for just mass scale awareness, but for tackle like the core perception gap that Squarespace was dealing with at that time.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. What is the most unconventional marketing channel that you've used successfully?
So I wouldn't recommend everyone use this, and this is probably a one-time thing, but years and years and years ago, we got sign spinners for a like we were exhibiting at a inbound like conference, and the sign spinner was so good that it got picked up by Dig at the time, which was like a big thing that's kind of like
it was like Reddit before Reddit.
Yeah, like Reddit before Reddit. Like this is how old I am. And it got picked up by the local news, and so we just got all this like free press from like sign spinners that cost like $300. But guys, I think that was a little lucky. I would recommend you add sign spinners to your marketing mix.
As a side note, that had to be a really remarkable sign spinner.
He was really good. He was like flipping it. It was like it was amazing. Like I actually should have hired that guy wherever you are.
That's incredible. Okay, what favorite marketing pun you've used in a campaign?
I don't like this one. I don't understand puns. Puns make me think too hard.
This is why we asked the question. Some people are very anti-puns, some people love puns.
What's your favorite
pun person.
Well, you must have a favorite one.
No, I don't really like puns either.
Where Claude just came up with this one? This wasn't you? Okay.
This was a Claude question, and I liked it. Because I was like, maybe other people like puns, and it's just me that doesn't like them. All right.
I'm curious though, do you think, this is a real question, do you think puns are effective in marketing?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think so, personally.
I agree.
I think they're too subtle. right? I think that, and I'm biased because I don't get subtlety, just so you know,
Yeah.
like, you could walk right by me, and if you didn't say like, hey, and wave your hand in my face, like I wouldn't see you. Like
Yeah.
subtlety is not my thing.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yeah.
bias there.
Thank you.
Okay.
We heard it. No puns, guys.
No puns. Influencer marketing or influence your CEO to increase the budget.
Oh, this one is like, I would say influence for more budget.
Ooh, I'm going to disagree with you here.
Okay.
You're looking for more budget. I host a podcast called Marketing Against the Grain.
Okay.
I recently interviewed Omir, who's the CMO at Wix, long-standing CMO at Wix, and he said the biggest change year over year in his marketing budget was influencer marketing.
Okay.
So, and I will tell you at HubSpot, we've completely transformed a lot of our marketing spend, even just paid to influencer marketing. And we have found influencer marketing, like paid partnerships, they're 5 to 7x cheaper than programmatic paid.
Okay.
So why I love money, I also like getting 5
Results.
to 7x
I love that too.
more quality results.
Yeah.
So
what would be your tip though to do that in a B2B setting?
Yeah, so the tiptoe to do that in a B2B setting is, I think you start with YouTube. So like for example, we think that creators with the kind of that 50 to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube is a really good sweet spot. And you reach out to them and you say, hey, I'm interested in working with you. And they know their audience really well. And they kind of give you ideas of show, kind of sponsorship offers that'll work, and you kind of co-create with them. And what's great about it is you normally pay like a flat fee. And so if you do really good execution, your actual cost per lead is very low. So that's, I would, you know, there's a bunch of great, for Asana, for example, business and productivity YouTubers, and I would reach out to a couple of those.
Will they do TikTok dances with me?
Probably.
Awesome.
I mean, you should just throw that into part of the deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right into the contract.
Most absurd place you've had a marketing epiphany.
Alcatraz.
Oh.
I was in the cell. Okay, I don't know if you've been to Alcatraz, but one, it's really hard to get tickets for Alcatraz. And then two, when you get there, they put you in a cell. It's really weird and kind of creepy. But when I was there, I said, wouldn't this be a great place for an event? Everyone wants to be there, and once you get there, you can't leave. And I did an event, and it was great. And it was parodied on Silicon Valley. Thank you.
That sounds awesome. I want to go to that event. Okay, best marketing advice you've ever received in 10 words or less.
So it's not marketing advice, it's business advice, but it is adopt a better, never best mentality in everything you do, which allows you to kind of put your ego aside and celebrate what you did well, but really focus on what you could do better for next time.
Got it. Mine's be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all.
That's great.
Love that, growth mindset. Last rapid fire. Branded socks, are they still cool or are they so 2015?
I like them. Give me your socks. I'm going to go out there on the exhibit floor. I want the socks.
If you
I will
got
come
socks on the
find your
exhibit floor,
socks. Yeah, because everyone
she's
needs
in.
socks.
Okay, about a minute left.
Okay.
Thank you for tolerating all of my outlandish questions. It's been so fun. It's nice to be the person asking the questions. I want to kind of close with this notion. If you could rewrite one of the unspoken rules of B2B marketing, because I think most people in the audience are B2B marketers, that kind of everyone follows, but you're like, I really wish they wouldn't follow that.
Yeah.
What would that be, and why would you want to change that?
Stop putting so many buzzwords and jargon in your content because no one cares. Like, write like normal people read and talk. Like, I think we need to like jargon it up to sound smart or sound like on trend, and just talk, create content like you would want to consume content, which is the way normal people
get the product technical language and jargon just out.
Yeah, don't look inward, look outward.
I find that companies think they need to do that to feel sophisticated, to target a sophisticated buyer, and it turns out that is completely not true. What those people actually care about is a clear understanding of what you do.
Yes.
How it impacts them is going to give them value.
Yep.
And how they could get started / like what is it going to cost them
Absolutely.
to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to, if you could all give Shannon a huge round of applause. This has been a very fun morning. Thank you all for listening to our conversation today, and thanks for coming to Inbound. See you all soon.
Bye.